Hey guys, what's going on? This is Andrew here today, and we're going to be taking a look at the Nintendo Switch Lite today and actually doing a review on it. Yes, I know it's been a long time since this first came out, and I am very, very late to the party, but I felt like doing a review of it anyway, and I felt like it was a good time considering that the Switch OLED just came out, and a lot of people are getting it because they mainly play their Switch in portable mode. I figured it would be good to start reviewing this one because for people that just want to play portable mode, they honestly might have a reason to get this one over the OLED or a reason to get the OLED over this and over the V2. So I'm going to review this and say whether it is worth it, and I will talk about who it is worth it for and who it's not worth it for at the end of this video. So yeah, guys, let's start getting into looking at the actual system itself. Alright guys, I know I already sort of covered this in my first impressions video, but we're going to be talking about the feel of the console. I can definitely say that this feels better in portable mode than the regular Switch, but after playing it for some time, it's honestly not by that much. I still feel like this console is too flat, just like the original and any other Switch for that matter. I feel like this should have had a bit more of a curve to it, or at least be a little more thick, because this flat console, honestly, it doesn't feel that comfortable when holding it like a regular controller. However, the way that I did find it comfortable, same goes for the other Switches. Hold it like this. Hold it to where you're not using two fingers on each hand for the bumpers and the triggers. Use one finger instead. It honestly feels that much better. You get a slight disadvantage if you're going to be in multiplayer. You're going to have to constantly be switching between all these kind of, things you're going to be doing in the game. But, I mean, it feels much better that way. I've gotten a much better experience doing it that way rather than holding it like a regular controller. However, if you do want to hold it like a regular controller, you really are set and want to be like that 100%, there's always the Satisfy Gaming Grip, which makes it feel more like a controller. Otherwise, the console feels pretty good. I mean, it definitely feels better than the original Switch. The weight of this thing makes it feel great. When I'm just sitting there and I want to hold it like this, or I want to lay in my bed and kind of hold it up a little bit, it doesn't cause any strain to my wrist. This definitely is a good feeling console. Although I'd say that the build quality isn't great. One thing I have to point out is these joysticks just feel like they'll eventually break. I definitely recommend getting a warranty if you're going to be getting these things, or possibly using a third-party controller to lessen the wear that you're going to do on these things. If you're giving this to a kid, you should 100% get the protection plan on these things. But other than that, it's a pretty good feeling console, I must say. So with that out of the way, guys, let's start talking about the features of the console. Alright guys, when talking features, I'm going to be comparing the Lite to my V1 Switch. The only difference between the V1 and the V2 happens to be the battery life, so we're really not missing anything when doing comparisons. So, starting with the screen size, the Switch Lite has a 5.5-inch LCD display, while the regular Switch has a 6.2-inch LCD display. They're both 720p, so the only thing we're seeing different is simply just the screen size. When talking the OLED, however, the screen size is 7 inches and obviously has that different OLED 720p display rather than the LCD one we're seeing on these consoles. The button placement is the same between all of the consoles. The only things that are really different between this and the OLED is they changed the D-pad on this console, and they also took away the stand, and since there's no stand to protect the SD card slot, they put a simple cover for it rather than just having the stand there like you would on the other Switches. Also, the OLED stand is different than this one. Honestly, much better. I heard that the SD card slot is a little bit of a pain in the ass though, but I've actually experienced it because I work at GameStop and I've had to basically help people set up their OLEDs when they've wanted me to, so that's kind of off topic, but I'm just basically pointing that out. So I have to talk about the downsides of the Lite though, because there are a few. So the biggest one I have to say is that the Lite just doesn't have video out, which means you can't use this on the TV with a dock or anything else for that matter. At that point, that just makes this a portable console, which can be a turnoff to some people who really love the idea of the Switch that it can just simply switch between being a TV console and a portable console. That was the reason I got a Switch, so this really can never be my main console. I got the Switch because I loved the idea of it. I mean, I would have gotten the console anyway because it's Nintendo and I'm a loser who will buy any console out there, but regardless, that's just something to point out. If you are somebody who uses a portable console all the time, never uses your Switch in the dock, it honestly might not be that bad of a sacrifice when considering the fact that this is $100 less. I still think that they should have included dock support, even if they didn't ship the console with the dock to at least save some costs. I still think they at least should have given it the capability. Kind of weird to call it the Switch when it simply can't switch. On top of that, the battery life is equivalent in this console to the V1, so you're actually getting a advantage on the V2 and the OLED. Those have better battery lives than both of these consoles right now. So we're talking about a fully portable console that has a worse battery life than both the other Switches that can do TV and portable mode. So fully portable console, worse battery versus portable console and TV console with the better battery. Doesn't really make sense to me. I feel like when they did the revision of this, they should have given it the better battery life and then had the V2 and the OLED basically had the same thing, or doesn't really matter. I still think that this should have had a better battery life. I will say that the battery life hasn't affected me. I have no problem with both of these batteries, but if you're that type of person that's really doing really long play sessions and needs the most battery life possible, then the other Switches have that option and you're going to have to make a decision in that regard. So the last disadvantage, which basically is on every console of the Switch at this point, is just the lack of storage. The V1, V2, and Switch Lite only have 32 gigs of storage, while the OLED has 64. It's really not something to make a big comparison for. I know it's double the storage on the OLED, but you're going to have to get an SD card no matter what the scenario is. 32 gigs is simply not enough. 64 gigs is not enough either. You're going to have to get an SD card if you're going to be getting a lot of games, and especially if this is your primary system. So all of the features and that talk out of the way, let's start getting to the games.
Alright guys, when talking games, I'm not really going to be talking the title specifically, but I will be talking about the experience on the console itself. Just like on the other versions of the Switch, in tabletop mode, you can use external controllers and other peripherals. Right here, I'm using the PowerA GameCube controller as if I were to be playing this on my V1. The lack of a stand makes it harder to play the games like this, but as long as you have something reliable holding up the system, you should have no problem playing the games like this. Screen quality wise, it's not bad for games, especially since the Switch isn't all that powerful. If I were to have something like a 1440p screen, I think games would look a bit weird since they wouldn't ever really be hitting that resolution, so just like on any other Switch, I'm pretty satisfied with this one. Portable gameplay wise, you aren't missing out on anything performance wise when comparing this to the other Switch models, but it is worth noting that the dock on the other models does boost performance and quality in most games, so for those games that don't run great in portable mode, you are unfortunately stuck playing that way on the Lite. Overall though, I'm very happy with the way that this system plays the games. You really aren't missing anything gameplay wise when comparing it to the other Switches.
Alright guys, we're here at the final verdict of my video where I'm going to basically be talking about whether I think the Switch Lite is worth it or not. And for that, I have to say that it really depends on the experience that you're looking to get out of the Switch. If you're looking to have the console be able to switch between the TV and be a portable system, then this one simply isn't for you. If you want one with the best screen, the one you're going to be going for is the OLED. If you want the one with the best battery life, you're either going for the V2 or the OLED. But if you are somebody who doesn't care about playing the thing on the TV, you just want a system that is going to play all the Switch games and you're going to be playing the thing portable anyway, this might just be the system for you. It's $200, which means it's $100 less than the regular Switch and $150 less than the OLED. Yes, the system obviously has its downsides when comparing it to the V2 and the OLED, but as I just said, if you were just looking to play it portable, why would you spend the extra money on something that's going to be coming with a dock? This is the base experience that you're going to be getting out of the other Nintendo systems, but when talking about it being fully portable, it actually has its upsides in that way to being the portable system. This feels more portable than something like the V1, the V2, or the OLED. I have brought my V1 on vacation with me before, and it just feels slightly too big for me to consider it a convenient portable system. This, on the other hand, is a decent amount smaller to the point where I feel like it is very convenient. It's not very big at all, so getting a carrying case to bring along with you, or simply just putting this in your pocket, it honestly works no matter which way you're going to be doing it. I mean, with the Switch, the V1, I found putting it in my pocket not so easy. It was a bit too thick to fit in my pocket. In some pockets it did fit, but it like felt really clunky and just felt really stupid to be in there. But this is honestly just an amazing portable option. I mean, if you were just looking to play in portable mode, as I just said, this is the one for you. If you were looking to do all those other things, then it's not for you. That's all I really have to say about that. But with that out of the way, let's talk about whether this system would have been worth it for me. So would the system have ever been my main Nintendo Switch? Absolutely not. I mean, the reason that I got the Switch in the first place, the original, was because it was able to, well, switch. I don't just do that with my Switch either. I also do it with my Razer Phone 2 and my laptop. So my Razer Phone 2 has video out, so I can actually use a USB-C to HDMI adapter to do emulators on my TV. And with my laptop, that's got a 120Hz 1080p screen that I'll bring with me places, and I'll play that when I'm on the go. But when I get home, if I want to play a game and have higher visuals rather than frame rate, I'll hook up the laptop to my 4K TV and up the resolution. So that's honestly not just a thing I do with my Switch. Like I said, I do it with my laptop and my phone as well. So this would have never been my primary Switch, but however, as a secondary Switch, this was the perfect one for me to get. When Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl come out, this is going to be the one that I play one of the games on, where the other Switch, I'm going to play the other game on. So I'm going to be playing the game a lot, and since my friends don't play the game anymore, and my brothers don't play the game anymore, the only person who I can trade with is myself. And the only way for me to trade between myself is if I have two Switches. Now that I have a second Switch, this will be the one I use to trade Pokemon between my two systems. And I also just got Pokemon Sword. I had Shield for about 2 years now, and I just got Sword again. Well, no, I just got Sword, so I'll be trading between those games as well. And any other games that are going to be taking advantage of two Switches, I'll be able to use this. So why did I pick this one specifically then? Well, I just felt there was no reason for me to spend $300 or $350 on a secondary Switch. Why would I get another Switch with another dock if I'm just going to be using that system as a secondary console anyway? I mean, if I wanted to get the V2 or I wanted to get the OLED, I would have simply just traded in my Switch or sold it to put towards one of those systems. This is great for me because it's a small form factor. I can bring it with me places, and it doesn't take up a lot of room in my room. If I had the other Switch that came with a bigger box that has a dock that has all this other stuff, this just simply has a console and the power supply, and it doesn't take up much room at all. So I'm very happy that I picked this console as my secondary system. I had a lot of fun testing it, and I'm going to be having a lot of fun playing it. So with that all being said, guys, this console is worth it depending on how you're going to be playing your system. Everything I just listed should basically give you a basic idea on whether this is worth it for you or not. Some other things I'm going to be talking about now to get alongside the system is, one, as I've mentioned a few times, an SD card. This only has 32 gigs of storage. You're going to want to get at least a 64 gig SD card, but I always tell people 128 and above is the sweet spot. This is a 256 gig SD card that's in my regular Nintendo Switch. Another thing I recommend getting is tempered glass screen protector. So this one is an Atrix tempered glass screen protector that I got from GameStop. There are many others out there. Look for a reliable one. Don't just get a cheap one. Look for one that has good reviews. And lastly, as I also mentioned in the video, but I don't have, the Satisfy Gaming Grip if you're looking to get a better portable experience of this console or just your regular Nintendo Switch. The last thing that I'm going to say is, parents, if you are looking to get this console for your kid, on top of all that stuff, also get a carrying case, and I would recommend as well getting a warranty on the console just in case anything happens to it. As I said before, this console does feel pretty delicate. It does feel pretty cheap. So if something happens to it, you don't want to have to go out and spend another $200 on a console. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much everything I have to say about the Switch Lite. it is an amazing system, and I'm looking forward to using this basically whenever I play my Switch games portably. So thank you all for watching this video. There will be more videos coming soon. I apologize for my inactivity. As I've said before, college work and work in general has just taken up a lot of my time, and my life moving forward, things are going to be pretty busy, but hopefully I'll get as much content out as I can. Thank you all for watching this video once again. Have a good one, guys.